This right here is the macuahuitl, the obsidian sword of the Aztecs. It's really one of the most amazing weapons from history, so let's talk about it. So the Aztecs made these weapons out of long obsidian blades, and they took these off of long cores. Look at, that's an obsidian flake right there. They would knock off the curved bit here and the curved bit here, and they'd use that straighter section for the blade. Obsidian is much sharper than even the finest steel blades, and when attached to a hardwood sword-like club like this, it could cut off limbs. Spanish accounts insist that it could even chop off a horse's head in one swing. And there's about 3 other accounts of horses being sliced open and dropping dead at their feet from a macuahuitl. And you might be confused on why I made that little noise there. Well, it's not pronounced the macuahuitl. That's stupid. It's a Nahuatl word and you pronounce it macuahuitl. And these weapons were most famously used by the Aztecs, who never actually called themselves the Aztecs. They called themselves the Mexica. The term Aztec came around in like the 1800s by a German guy. Plenty other Mesoamerican cultures also used bladed weapons like this. Here's a smaller example that was used by the Aztecs, but we know the Mayans used them as well as the Purépecha and probably other cultures of Mesoamerica. But it's interesting to note that these cultures also had metal weapons. The Purépecha were extremely good at casting bronze and other copper alloys that were effective as weapons. They commonly used axes and spears in warfare, and the Aztecs also had bronze axes. But regardless, they still relied on obsidian for their military purposes, at least the Aztecs did. And that's because warfare is just as much cultural as it is practical. As you can see, obsidian is absolutely beautiful. Just look at this thing. This is rainbow obsidian from Mexico, and it's just, with the light, it looks gorgeous. And imagine wielding one of these in battle. You would be the coolest guy in the battlefield with the sun behind you. So part of the reason the Aztecs might have still used obsidian was because of their deep cultural ties to using it in the past, and because it just looked cool. Again, they were aware of metal axes and metal spears, but they still used obsidian. The macuahuitl was an absolutely legendary weapon, and if you want to learn more, check out my full YouTube video where I deep dive into the history and culture around this weapon, and I also test it against meat, armor, and ballistics gel. You better check it out.